and like my family like, what are you doing? I'm like, I just need to let some energy out. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today, basically this is exactly why I got into influencing. We are going to be talking about all things like confidence tips, happiness tips, how to get yourself out of a negative headspace, manifestation, positive vibes, and just giving you guys advice. I asked on Instagram if you guys would ask me any questions to do with this topic and positivity, and I got loads of questions going in. I've got my laptop with me, so if you want to pick up on some tips and learn a few things and just have some positive vibes during lockdown, then keep watching and hit that subscribe button. So the first question that topic that I'm gonna bring up, a lot of people, this was the most asked question. So it was how to get yourself out of a negative headspace and how to push yourself when you're feeling down. And this is something that everyone, of course, struggles with. You can have your down days and your up days. My number one bit of advice on this is accept it when you have a down day. We all have down days and it is normal, it is fine. Like, you cannot be happy all the time, and society has created this thing that you've got to be happy 100% of the time, and that's just impossible. We all have emotions and we're gonna feel different things on different days. So when you are having like one of those down days, what I tend to do is, if I just wake up and I'm just not in a good mood, I accept it and I let myself not be in that good mood for the day. You know, and I'm aware of it, so, you know, people around me, I will say, look, I'm not in a good mood today. That, you know, it's up to them how they take that, but you just accept that down day and just roll with it, and I 100% guarantee the next day you do wake up just feeling like better, that you just accepted it, you didn't feel bad about it all day, you didn't try to get yourself out of it. Sometimes it is just the best thing to let it happen, because then you get a good night's sleep and the next day you're like, wow, I feel completely different. So that's my tip one. But if it is a situation or a scenario, or it is a case of, no, you need to snap out of it, there is loads of ways you can do this. My number one absolute go-to, if you follow me on TikTok, you get my vibe, I love music. I live for music. If I am in a horrible mood and I need to snap out of it ASAP, I will put on a really feel-good playlist on my Spotify. Normally it's like my on-repeat playlist because it's like the good vibes. But yeah, so, and that is something that I can put together. If that's something in the comments, let me know if you want it. I can put a Spotify playlist together that's kind of my go-to, like feel good, and every single song is just feel good song. So if that's something you guys want, I can definitely do that and share that with you on socials. But putting a good playlist on, definitely. Number two, when I'm in a mood, I will like ring one of my sisters. And I just think when you're talking to someone, sometimes you just need to get it out, that you're in a mood, and just get all those emotions out. And then once you've got them out, you're like, oh my god, I feel so much better right now. So definitely, if you've got that one person or a couple of people that you can call, text, like sometimes just talking to someone, it doesn't even have to be about your mood. Sometimes just actually talking to another person can snap you out of it without you even realising. So that's always a good one as well. And then like my final thing, I mean there's loads of things. If it's a topic you want me to explore more of, I can do another video, or I'm gonna be writing blogs in 2021, and the blogs are going to be a lot to do with this topic, so I can definitely write blogs on it. And I'm going to be starting a podcast as well, and my podcast, again, it's going to be similar topics, and just like how the fuck to get through life, basically. So if these are things you love, definitely give me more topics and I can explore it in deeper levels, but I'm just gonna go through loads of topics in this YouTube. But yeah, final one of getting yourself out of a bad mood and out of a rut is just doing something you really like. So whether it's, you know what, I really enjoy reading, I'm just going to read a chapter of that book. Maybe that's just it's going to take my mind away from being in a bad mood. Or, you know what, I love a hot bath. I'm just going to take a hot bath right now. It might be the middle of the day, it doesn't matter. That's something I like to do. Like for me, like I say, it's like putting on the music. But you know what, I really like cooking. I'm going to cook a new recipe today. Or you know what will make me feel good? I'll go for a walk. So thinking, what can I do like right now, right this second, that's something that I like, that's just gonna take my mind away from being in that bad mood. And I know it's completely easier said than done. That is why my number one tip is to sometimes just accept the bad mood. But yeah, they're my tips for how to get out of a negative headspace. Question number 2 that came up a lot. How to stay motivated. Now you can take a lot of how to get out of a negative headspace into the motivational category, just because that's what's going to keep you moving, doing things you like and things like that. But how to stay motivated, so writing out your goals and sticking to those goals. And yeah, that sounds, well, of course, Lucy, yeah, but no, I mean literally sticking to those goals. I'm guilty of it, everyone is guilty of it. We say what we want to do and we don't do it. So what I try to do to stay motivated, so I've just started this brand new venture of influencing. I've always wanted to do it, and 2020 was my kind of year of realization that I can do it. So now I've completely started this. I have to stay motivated and dedicated every single day to do it. There's no point like quitting my job and coming to do this and then spending half the day watching Netflix series and half the day filming, and like, I've got to treat it like a 9-to-5 job. So what I do to stay motivated is every single night before I go to bed, I write down a plan of the next day, and I include timing. So like 9 till 10 I want to do this till this I want to do this, and I try and treat it like a full-time job. I give myself breaks and I try and stick as much to that schedule as possible, because then you're waking up and you're not just thinking, oh, I've got a million things to do, I don't know where to start, and that's when like stress and not actually doing it comes into. So when I'm saying how to keep motivated, like choose what it is that you want to be motivated about, whether it's losing weight, whether it's you want to be motivated in like actually cooking decent meals, whether it's you want to be motivated to do your uni work. Like write down the day before what you need to achieve tomorrow with realistic timings. Don't give yourself too much pressure. Don't be like, I've got to write my dissertation tomorrow. No, well tomorrow I'm gonna 10 till 2 do my dissertation. For 2 hours I'm gonna have a break, and then I might do some Harvard referencing for an hour in the evening. And I just think like setting those like small goals is what keeps you on track, because a lot of the reason people don't stay motivated is because they've got all these things in their head that they need to do, that it's like in your head and you're like, oh, that's just too much, so you choose not to face it because it seems too much, rather than, well actually no, really, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. I'm gonna do that for those hours, then that, have a break, and you actually work so much more productively that way. Well, that's how I work more productively, because it's just like telling my mind you don't actually have to do that much today. So yeah, that is like my top way of how to stay motivated. So I hope that helps. The third most asked question was how to feel good when your posts don't do well. Now I know I always get girls in my DMs like telling me like they really want to get into influencing, they really want to start YouTube, and they want to, and social media, like although people mock it and although people say influencing isn't a job and all of this, it really is. And just like if you had a bad day at work and you got like told off by your boss, or something just went totally wrong at work, like when, as a person who wants to, you know, post for a living, when your posts don't do well, it's a bit of a bad day at work. Like sometimes I will film a video, spend ages on it thinking that's going to do well, it doesn't, it really just doesn't do as well as I thought it would. And then one that I spent 5 seconds filming, like literally it took me one take, I didn't get ready for it, that will do really well. So it's just about like knowing your audience, doing the research, and keeping on your analytics of what's doing well and what's not doing well, because then that just saves you time as well. Okay, all of that effort that I put in, it didn't do well, those things doing well, and that they don't take me as much time. So it's about learning from it rather than being down about it not doing well. My Instagram for a long time was just really steady, it wasn't doing well, and I used to think, but why? And when you just like, oh, but why? And you go in a mood about it, that's not fixing the problem. So now when a post doesn't do well, I think, okay, well, why might it not have done well? Have I had any comments? Have I had any messages about it? okay, that hasn't done well, but yesterday that did do well, let me post that again and see if it's just that people want that kind of content. So rather than thinking, oh, my post isn't doing well, learn from it. And that is how you grow, because you learn what your, like, you learn what your users want. Smile and wave. Okay, my words. Okay, the next one. Oh, putting pressure on yourself. Okay, so this is actually like my #1 thing that I probably, out of everything, do the most. Put too much pressure on myself. And like I said earlier, Rome wasn't built in a day. So you just have to adapt that mindset and philosophy to your real life. It is impossible to achieve like a million things in one day, and then that's when you start feeling bad for taking breaks. And that's when you start feeling like you're procrastinating, because you've got so much in your head that needs doing, it's too much to face, so you procrastinate, then you feel bad that you're procrastinating and not doing it, and then you feel bad that you take it, so it's just one big cycle. Like, so you, like I said with the goal thing, if you're like saying, okay, today that is achievable, that is what I can do today, then tomorrow I will do the next thing towards that, I will do the next thing towards that, and that is how you're going to achieve more. Now, it's a lot easier said than done, and you can put pressure on yourself, especially on social media where you see other people doing well. But like the quotes I always post on Instagram, like, don't compare yourself to another person's Instagram, because they're only posting their successes. They're not posting their, like, okay, yesterday they could have been crying in bed because something failed. So it's a case of like being happy for people on social media because they're posting their successes and they might have worked really hard to get to that point. I'm not going to put pressure on myself to be there right now because I'm on a totally different journey. So it's just, again, like, realising that you have time, you've just got to keep working at it and keep motivated. And also as well, like, it's okay to take a break sometimes. Like, it's just been like Christmas and the New Year. I took a break from filming over the New Year. I just finished my full-time job. I was going to get into influencing. I wanted to spend some time like on Christmas Day with my family, and so it was just a case of me just taking a little bit, like, I'm not gonna like put loads of pressure on myself to film a lot, and it actually just made me feel better. So now in the new year, when I've come into the influencing, I just want to do it now. So don't feel like it's not okay to take a break, because it really is. And I know because the world and social media is so fast-paced right now, sometimes it feels impossible to do that, but it really isn't, and it actually will make you more productive in the long run. So that's my advice on putting pressure on yourself. But it is a lot easier said than done, especially because a lot of people compare. But that's another one of the questions, how to not compare yourself to other people. Now, social media is the best thing in the world and the worst thing in the world, because we compare ourselves to Instagram models, to people getting engaged, to people having babies, to her weight loss journey, or wow, she's so confident, like, wow, I wish I was that confident, and it all just gets in your head and you do compare yourself. But like I said, you are on your own life journey, and like social media, they're just sharing their happy moments and you share your happy moments. So when you post your happy moment, someone else might be comparing themselves to you. You've always got to remember, if you're comparing yourself, someone is also comparing themselves to you. So it is just a mentality that we've got into. It is a society thing. But how I try not to compare myself is just knowing that the steps that I'm taking are going towards the goal I want, and that person's just posted that. That's great for them. They might be further ahead than me, but I am actually actioning the steps to get there. So as long as you can look at yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, they might be engaged, or they might have got first in their dissertation, but I put the steps in, I am on my way to doing that. And also as well, like, sometimes see it as a motivational thing. Like, you see some girl, and I'm not talking about the unrealistic girls that have had like millions of pounds spent on plastic surgery and all of this, because that is just unrealistic. But if you see a girl and you think, you know what, like, she's got abs, like, I wish I had abs, get them then. If you want something, get it. And sometimes use it as motivation. Like, I use it as actual like motivation. And just accepting, you know, and being happy for people. Like when you see something, instead of thinking, oh, rather than thinking negatively about it, think positively about it. Like think, wow, they are doing so good. Like hype them up. And this is where manifestation and positive energy comes into it, which is the next point. I got a lot of people asking me about my experience with manifestation. Has it worked? Do I believe in it? And I'm gonna probably contradict myself. I do believe in it, but I also believe in hard work. So this is where I'm saying though about coming into it and positive vibes. What you put out to the world, you get back. So if you're seeing a post and you're like, I just want to look like that, oh, I wish you're just going to get like negativity back, and you're going to then send your brain into like negativity zone of thinking, oh, and I want this and I should, and whereas if you see that post and you think, wow, like good for them, like good for them, you're then setting your brain to think positively about it, and then that might like initiate you to be like, you know what, I can do that. And that is then when you start realizing the steps you want to make. The more you like train your brain to think in these more positive, different ways, you are just a happier, more positive person, because your brain is just naturally thinking of something in a good way. So that really comes into play when comparing yourself to other people. If you're just thinking positively and putting out those good vibes, you're going to get the good vibes back. And what I'm saying about positive energy and positive vibes and manifestation is, if you are actually believing it, if you are thinking positively about it, you're blocking out all of that, oh, but what if, you're blocking out the stress, you're blocking out the I can't do it, and all you're thinking is I can do it, I believe I can do it, and that puts your mindset into doing it. So it's a mixture for me of putting the positive vibes out there, and then that actually makes you put in the hard work, because things happen because you put the work in at the end of the day. You could believe you are going to be the next Kim Kardashian, and that's great, but if all you're doing is sitting there believing it, you're not going to become the next Kim Kardashian. You've actually got to go out there and do it. So I really am a believer in the positive vibes and how that trains your mindset to then go and do it, if that makes sense. Now, has it worked for me? Yes, because since I stopped caring what people think, I have gone on my influencer journey. I used to always care about, oh, but people are gonna think I'm like a wannabe influencer. So what? Let them think I'm a wannabe influencer. Like, so the moment I started training my brain to think differently about that and putting positive vibes into it, I then started doing it, which is how it happened. So I am a big believer in it. How to be confident and love yourself. Now, I have on my TikTok put quite a few real talks out there about loving yourself, not comparing yourself, tips to be confident, and they're quite cheesy, but they work. I do accept that I am someone who is lucky enough to naturally be confident, which is great, and that is why I want to use my platform to make you guys realise that you can be confident. And it's just, the way to be confident is to accept yourself, which is, you know, if everyone accepted themselves, it'd be a, you know, a lot nicer, less crueler world. So I know this is difficult. The minute you accept yourself and like yourself as a person, you are just confident, because you don't care what they're gonna think. You don't care if it goes wrong, because you know who you are. So the way to be confident is learning to love yourself. Once you love yourself and accept who you are, you will naturally be confident. So here are some of my tips to start loving yourself, start liking yourself, which will then lead to that confidence. So number one, being kind to yourself. More than anything, the way to just learn yourself and learn you is to be kind to you. So that's doing the things that you want to do. Learning to be selfish, and I don't mean in a horrible way, I mean this in a just being good to you way, like learning to, you know, say no to that person, because that's going to cause you stress and anxiety to think that you're going to have to do that, when really, if you just say no, all of that is cut out, and you like come to realize like who you are, and, you know, I can say no, and that like empowers you as well. So being good to yourself and being a little bit selfish. Also giving yourself compliments. Like, don't expect a compliment from anyone else if you can't compliment yourself. And this, I live by this motto. So I will compliment myself. Whether it's out loud, whether it's just you look in the mirror and you think, okay, not too bad today, or whether it's I achieved something that was on my to-do list, I'm gonna like, you know, be like, well done me. So it's not necessarily like being like, oh, you look good, honey, but it's just about realizing the good things that you do and acknowledging that to yourself and saying out loud, you know what, I did that today. And that just naturally, if you're doing that every single day, it just naturally trains your brain to think better about yourself. And I know that sounds crazy, but trust me, if you actually start doing it, even just once a day, complimenting something that you do, complimenting one thing about yourself and the way you look, if you do that every single day, naturally your brain does start to think more positively about yourself, and that is how you start learning to accept yourself as well. Another way is to stop expecting too much from others. Like, lower your expectations and meet your own expectations. So like, a lot of the reason, you know, people like, oh, I'm not confident, I don't love myself, is because they're setting their expectations way too high. So for example, you see a girl on Instagram and you're like, I'll never look like that. Oh, why, I'm so ugly. Like, don't set your expectations where that girl is at, because I'm telling you, that girl is probably spending all her time in the gym. She's probably doing her hair and makeup all the time. Have you got time for that? No. Do you want that lifestyle? Probably not. Like, do you actually want to spend all your time trying to look like that? No, you don't. So don't set yourself their expectations. Set yourself your expectations and be like, you know what, okay, that's motivating me a little bit. I know I'm not going to look like her because I just don't have the time, and quite frankly, I don't want that lifestyle to look like that. But I am going to take my own steps, set my own expectations. I'm going to drink 1 litre of water every day because that's achievable for me. I'm going to work out for 30 minutes a day. That's achievable for me. Or you know what, I'm going to work out 3 times a week for half an hour each time, because to me that's achievable. And once you start setting your own expectations and not having expectations of other people, you start achieving them because they're realistic, and then you start liking yourself because you're achieving them. It's just about knowing you, having the correct expectations of yourself, and just being good to yourself, basically. Like, giving yourself that time, being a little bit selfish, doing something that you love. And over time, if you're doing all of those things, you really do learn to accept yourself, and the confidence really does just come with it. So yeah. How to shut out the haters. Now, this was like my final straw of becoming like the real me and who I am today, and it is probably the hardest one, learning to like block out hate from other people. And I've said it on my TikTok before, like, I always delete hateful comments because I'm trying to promote a positive space. So I don't want girls or guys coming onto my feed, seeing people commenting negative things and then fueling it and by other people, and then it becomes a negative space. So that's why I just delete it all and I block it all out, because I don't have time for it. I don't want my followers seeing it. I want them to come to my page and feel positive. Now, how I personally block out the hate, I like who I am. I have got to that stage of accepting myself. I know some of my faults. I know what I'm good at. I know what I like about myself. I don't need anyone else to tell me that. I am happy with me. I have got to that stage where I like what I see, I like who I am, and if people don't, okay. Do you know, it's okay because I do. So you're not affecting me, because like, I get so many comments on my eyebrows. I've been called so many things to do with my eyebrows. It just doesn't bother me because I like my eyebrows. Okay, to you it looks crap, but to me it looks good. We all have a different perspective of what's good and what's not good. We've all been brought up by different people. We've all been brought up to have different opinions, and that is the beauty of life, and that's the beauty of us, and that's my main message, to be you, be yourself. So everyone is different for a reason. So if you're hating on someone because they're different, that only reflects your personality. Like, how I deal with it as well, I just think, oh, poor you, because the people that are hating are probably people that aren't confident, haven't accepted themselves, they're insecure, so they feel like they need to comment that on other people's things so that they can feel better about themselves. And it's this vicious cycle that we've got into society, and this is why I'm saying put positive vibes out there, manifest it, train your brain to think differently. So not, oh, I hate her because she looks good, I love her because she looks good, she puts the work in, I'm gonna do that. And that will naturally just stop the hatefulness that you feel. So it's everyone working on their own self journey, and realizing, you know, I've got to work on myself and accept myself, and then I won't care about this hate. Now, like I said, I've given you some tips on how you can do that, and it is a lot easier said than done. And like, don't get me wrong, if you're getting a million messages saying your I don't know, your nose is really big and crooked, then you're gonna feel insecure about your nose. I get it. It's about what you think about yourself. Now, if you, where it hits hard normally with haters is when they hate on something that you are insecure about. So I used to be insecure about my eyebrows because growing up I got a lot of comments about them. That I did something about it because it was one of my insecurities anyway. So sometimes when you're getting hate on something that is an insecurity anyway, use it as motivation to do something about that. Because you're insecure about it anyway, so you need to work on it anyway. But if they're hating on something that you're not even insecure about, don't even let it bother affecting your time, because you're not even insecure about it. So if someone's saying, I hate your nose, and you're thinking, well, I actually really like my nose, I don't get why people are saying this. And even if you've had 10 comments of your nose is crooked, I'm just using this as an example, just be like, okay, 10 people think it's crooked, cool, but I don't. It's about what you think about yourself. So that's my tips on haters. Body positivity. Now, I know I've gone on about Instagram a lot because I feel like this is where a lot of the problems come from, all these unrealistic things. We all have filters, Facetune, and I'm now doing some little groove. Okay, so with all these apps, it is becoming more and more and more accessible to make us look different than what we are. So on Instagram, for example, you can see someone and they've probably like airbrushed it so they have no like hair on their body, they've probably, you know, photoshopped it a little bit, and it's all these like unrealistic body standards that I feel have made body positivity like as bad as it is, and body confidence. Because if people weren't editing as much, you would see the real them, and then you would probably feel a bit more confident because you're not looking at unrealistic things. So what I tend to suggest with this is like, that's never going to stop. That's Instagram, that's filters, and that's what they keep producing, and that's what we all love. So we secretly all love it and hate it. So know that it's unrealistic, and don't let it affect your body confidence. Just know that is unrealistic. And if it actually is, then they probably spent a lot of money to get there. You know, no one's naturally born like, so it's just accepting that it's fake. And that's what I do a lot of on my Instagram. I do a lot of Instagram versus reality. I do a lot of like, this is what it looks like with Facetune, this is actually me, to just make you like, I'm creating a space of, yeah, like this is what it can look like, but this is what it really looks like. So just trying to get you guys to realize, okay, that picture might look really good, but if you swipe, that's what it actually looks like without any edit on it. So I think it's just about surrounding yourself on social media around like the accounts that motivate you and make you feel good, and it's just about accepting that it is probably fake. So don't let yourself even compare yourself or make you have a bad image of your own body, because it probably is fake. That is it for today. I know I've rambled on and I talk quickly, and some of you may have completely just zoned out 10 minutes in and 5 minutes in, but if you are still here and you have watched the whole thing, thank you so much. And if you do like these things, please just get in my Instagram DMs. It's Appleton21 on Instagram, and just ask me any questions that you have about anything I've discussed. I've had fun talking about this. I feel like it's even put me in a positive mindset for today. So I'm just so grateful for this platform, and I'm so grateful for you guys, and thank you for making this happen for me. and I'm just going to keep delivering the positivity and the good vibes and trying to make my social media a good place for people to be and realise that, you know, we're all just real, we're all in this together, we're all on our own journeys, trying to figure out who we are. So let us be at doing that. But yeah, thank you for watching, and if you could please subscribe, that would mean the world. And if you could get me on my TikTok and Instagram, Appleton 21, that'd be amazing too. But yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye.